Good morning, it's Tuesday morning. Sitting in some pretty heavy traffic. I left a little earlier today because I have an 8:45 meeting. I want to make sure I got there a little ahead of it to be prepared for it. It's apparently leaving early. It may just get me there right in time for the meeting. It's a little bit thick today. It's supposed to be rain in the forecast for this evening. And actually a cold storm. They're actually saying snow at the 3,500 foot level, which is really rare for us this late in April. It's been easy week so far. We're going to take a trip this weekend out to Las Vegas, go see Melissa and the pooches, including the new pooch, Abby. Got some great pictures of her last night. She's a cutie. She's a cool dog. Apparently she is getting along with one of the dogs out there. The other one hasn't quite gotten used to her, but he will. He's a neurotic, needy dog anyway. Space shuttle landed this morning. Yeah, there's only 3 space shuttle flights left. That's it. And I remember the first one. Been a long time. And I guess it's time for something new. I don't know how much science value we're getting out of our trips at this point, other than we're, shuttling people up to and from the International Space Station. And there is some science going on there, but the space station hasn't really built out the way it should, and it's expensive to keep putting these shuttles back up. You got to get something out of it. The talk basically is, do you go to Mars or do you go to the moon? We've been to the moon. We know it's there. But presumably a trip to the moon would be more about starting to investigate how to be on the moon long term. Mars, whole different proposition. It's a lot longer trip. It would take quite some time for someone to go to Mars and back, a manned mission. Probably have to be someone who doesn't have family, or whose family can be separated from them for a couple of years, because it's going to take some time to get to Mars and come back. But it might be beneficial to find out who our nearest neighbor is on a more intimate basis. Either one of those are going to be expensive. There's lots of little interim projects. I mean, the Mars rovers were a huge success. Lasted well beyond what they were designed for. Came in at a very low budget when it comes to space exploration. So it's definitely something that, we should try as a model. But, the big thing is going to be putting feet on the ground on those heavenly bodies, the moon and Mars. I think I'd like to see Mars more than the moon. I think there's more to learn on Mars. The moon is tied so closely to Earth's evolution that I don't think we can learn much new. We can learn new stuff, and we're always going to learn new stuff, but I think there's much more to be found on Mars with the abundant evidence that water is on that planet, and what's below the surface. We know that there are organisms here on Earth that live absent of oxygen in extreme conditions, like on, lava vents in the Marianas Trench, and lava vents underwater all around the world. We know that there are organisms and creatures that can live in those very extreme conditions. So perhaps there are some kinds of life that we haven't explored because we haven't found them in those extreme conditions, or we have evidence of what they were like on those soils, if there was. More than likely, if there is anything there, it's microbial. It's not something walking around. But perhaps we can learn. I think there's just a lot more value to it, but it's a riskier proposition, and it's something that's going to take a lot more time and commitment. So I think it's a good thing. So what do you think? Moon? Mars? Where should we go? Do we shoot farther? The stars are still too far away from us. We haven't figured out warp drive or anything like that. Nearest star is a little over 4 light years away. Give you an idea how far that is. People hear the term light years, but a lot of times they don't realize what that is. Light travels at 186,000 miles per second. So basically around the world about 7 times, almost 8 times in a second. Or to the moon in 2 seconds. About 300,000 miles. A little less than 2 seconds, about a second and a half. So to the moon in a second and a half. The nearest star would be 4.5 years away at that speed. If you could get to that speed in some kind of a vehicle. That's a long way off. Mars, the moon, they're doable. They are close enough that we might be able to get to them and learn some more. So which do you think? Mars or the moon? This is kind of a pie in the sky one, so put it in the comments, let me know. Hope you have a great day, have a great Tuesday. We'll talk to you later.